It became very dark, very windy, so I went to our strong room and waited, and it lasted like 15-20 seconds.
Now at 11, Seminole County has started picking up the pieces after an EF2 tornado touched down.
The roof got stripped. There's a lot of water in the insulation in the attic.
WESH 2 got a look at the damage from the air and on the ground.
Our first warning weather team was on the air for hours this morning, keeping you and your family safe.
Most likely tornado debris over I-4 working over to Lake Mary. Lake Mary in your safe place now.
And our team coverage continues tonight.
This home nearly completely collapsed, and just down the road, homes covered in tarps. I'm Haley Krubble-Home. I'll give you a live look at the damage now at 11.
WESH 2 News starts right now.
It was a tornado so strong, so terrifying, people say they prefer dealing with a hurricane. Tonight, hundreds of people are still without power in Seminole County.
And some who suffered damage to their homes have had to find other places to spend the night. WESH 2 has team coverage with Chief Meteorologist Tony Minolfi on the path of the storm in just a moment.
But first, WESH 2's Haley Krubble-Home is live in Longwood with the worst of the damage. Haley.
So this home here off of Markham Woods Road, it is nearly completely flattened. You can see just one portion where that front porch is still standing. And when you go through this neighborhood, you see homes covered in tarps, trees on the ground, and it is just filled with people who were terrified this morning. But miraculously, no one hurt. This security camera captured the moment an EF2 tornado tore through this Longwood neighborhood.
Unlike anything, like a freight train.
And the whole house shook.
It's just shattering glass.
In this man's home, leaves and debris covered the floor after multiple windows blew out. His back porch covered in glass and what remains of his smashed patio doors. Tree limbs and pieces of other homes are scattered around too.
I cannot exaggerate. I mean, like, everything happened so fast.
He says by the time he and his wife realized what was happening, it was too late to get very far.
There was no time, so we just, duck right on the living room area, on the corridor.
The front door blew in, bringing in debris and items from their front yard.
The flower pot, they just came from the door and hit my bag. I mean, like, literally, I felt everything. I was just saying, like, try to protect my wife. That's all I did.
He says all but one room in his house was damaged, but it could have been worse. Down the block, a home almost completely leveled by the sheer force of the tornado. No trees fell on top of it. People here spent Monday clearing out what they could. There's no telling how long repairing or rebuilding some of these homes could take.
So I don't know if they're going to tear down the house or if they are going to try to fix it. So I don't know how long it's going to take to put it back to normal.
And some folks without power tonight, some people still trying to clear out debris. They were weighing whether to stay or go. Now, we have seen law enforcement doing loops in this neighborhood. And, of course, the Red Cross was out here trying to help families as they navigate what's next. Covering Seminole County live in Longwood, Haley Krubble-Home, WESH 2 News.
And WESH 2 not only on the ground, but also in the sky. Chopper 2 flew over Seminole County, giving a bird's eye view of all the damage and just real context for how strong that tornado actually was. And this is near where Haley is tonight. Meanwhile, the Sweetwater Oaks community near Fox Valley Drive in Wekiva Springs also saw some damage. Take a look. Two massive trees fell on Fox Valley Drive, narrowly missing cars parked on the street and falling in the opposite direction of homes. Joseph Hill owns the property with the large trees that fell.
I was watching it out the window as this one was falling, and I was even more thankful that it didn't hit the neighbors' cars. The wind was going in all directions. The trees were going everywhere.
And it's increasingly been a story of neighbors helping neighbors. Some even seen climbing onto the roofs of homes to take pictures of the damage to help out. But it wasn't just picture taking. Some people also brought out their chainsaws and got to work helping clear debris.
Lake Mary was not spared by this storm. Driving around this area, our crews saw a lot of damage. This is on Skyline Drive outside of a building that houses several businesses. We saw trees that fell on cars in this parking lot, air conditioning units that blow off the roof. About a half a mile away, a semi-truck flipped over onto its side right there. This all happened on Lake Emma Road and Commerce Street, just outside the Social Security Administration building. Man inside the truck and his dog were able to make it out safely.
Crews with the National Weather Service have wrapped up their assessment of the tornado damage today.
And while they initially thought the twister struck a 2-mile zone, they now say it's up to 4 miles. Today on West 2 News at 7, I spoke with Will Ulrich with the NWS over in Melbourne. He says crews had to assess the damage after the tornado before they could determine just how powerful it was.
So in this scenario, what we did was we went out and looked for patterns of the damage. In other words, is it lying in different directions? How far was the debris carried away from its original location? And then what type of damage was occurring? Was it to softwood trees, hardwood trees, well-constructed homes?
Ulrich says the final report will be issued sometime in the morning.
And that tornado was on the ground for about 6 minutes this morning.
First Warning Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi tracked the path of this twister. Tony, show us exactly where it hit.
Yeah, so you take a look at the southeast side there where Kyber Springs guys, and then it kind of crossed right over I-4, then lifted back up. So that's about a 4-mile path, as Stu was alluding to, but it was also 300 yards wide, 3 football fields wide. And when Marquise took the drone up today, you saw that debris field from the drone. You also saw it with Eric when he was up in the helicopter. And I tell you what, at the peak right there, 120-mile-an-hour winds, EF2 for a brief period of time, thankfully, not through all of those subdivisions. Most of the tornadoes, by the way, here in Central Florida don't reach that intensity. 90% of our tornadoes are EF0s or EF1s with winds of 65 to 110. But it's this severe weather season here from February, March, and April that we can get into trouble like we did today. When we get into the summer, most of them, again, EF0s and EF1s. Now, we do have another weather maker potentially on the way Sunday night and Monday, but the cleanup through the weekend does look good. I'll break down that weekend scenario straight ahead.
And to get the latest weather warnings and watches even when we are off the air, go ahead and download our free West News app and be sure to enable those notifications.
New tonight, this man, a police suspected of killing a 72-year-old Jessie Kirk, is now officially charged with her murder.
That's right. 35-year-old David Barber remains in jail tonight. West 2's Tony Atkins is in Titusville and explains the several new charges against him.
It's been nearly a week since Jessie Kirk was reported missing. Now, justice for her is inching closer as this community continues to mourn. 35-year-old David Barber is still in jail. Tonight is officially facing charges related to killing 72-year-old Jessie Kirk early last week. In addition to first-degree premeditated murder, Barber is charged with arson, burglary, abuse of a corpse, theft, and tampering with evidence. Police say Kirk is the aunt of one of Barber's ex-girlfriends. That relationship did not end well, with him allegedly going through her trash and even trying to break into one of their old apartments in December. She filed a restraining order.
It's your classic kind of fatal attraction, if you will. Mr. Barber, in his, mentally unstable state, happened to go to Miss Kirk's residence thinking that my client might show up there for some reason.
Police say Barber killed Jessie, dumping her body just south of Haulover Canal. He allegedly took her SUV and set it on fire near State Roads 520 and 50. Jessie is a well-known philanthropist and a champion of the Space Coast, serving the community through organizations like the Jess Parrish Medical Foundation and the Children's Advocacy Center of Brevard, both posting tributes for Jessie online. And this Friday at 7 p.m., there will be a vigil to remember Kirk at Sandpoint Park. I'm covering Titusville in Brevard County. Tony Atkins, West 2 News.
Titusville police are still investigating this case, so anyone with information is encouraged to call Crime Line immediately. New at 11, Florida Highway Patrol is now investigating a potentially dangerous incident on I-4. A woman says a driver in a black Nissan Rogue flashed a gun at her. She told FHP she heard a loud noise, but she's not sure whether it was a gunshot. This is a live look where it happened at I-4 eastbound near Howland Boulevard in Volusia County. Fortunately, no one was hurt, and the woman's car showed no signs of being struck by gunfire.
Tomorrow, the case of a man accused of killing his estranged wife will be back in court. Gory Hill is charged with killing Shakira Rucker in 2023. Investigators found Rucker's body in an Apopka storage facility days after the crime. Tomorrow's hearing is set for 9 a.m. Tomorrow in Titusville, protesters plan to rally outside of City Hall. They say they want justice after police shot and killed 25-year-old Tremaria Charles last month. This video is from a vigil for Charles 3 weeks ago. Tomorrow's protest begins at 6 p.m. There will be 3 more similar protests later on this month. The police chief says Charles rushed towards officers before picking up a gun. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating the incident.
A Volusia County school employee is one of 16 people accused in an operation targeting predators. Jeffrey Summers faces charges for soliciting an obscene communication with a minor and traveling to meet a child. Summers is a paraprofessional at Horizon Elementary School. The school district says he has now been placed on leave and has no contact with students. The district will determine whether he can return to campus. More than a month after a deadly shooting in Orange County, deputies say they have now arrested a suspect. A teenager who we are not naming because of their age was taken into custody on February 9th. They face a second-degree murder charge for the shooting death of Quelson Pierre back on February 8th. This happened at the Landon Point Apartments just south of Holden Avenue, east of John Young Parkway.
A driver is dead after a crash on I-95 in Flagler County. Florida Highway Patrol says just after 4 this afternoon, a truck traveling southbound veered off the road and hit a tree. The vehicle then caught fire. This is video of the emergency response earlier today. No word on what caused the crash.
DNA testing led to a breakthrough in a decades-old death investigation.
Lake County investigators finally identified a body found in the woods back in the 80s, but there's still another mystery to solve.
And after a lot of pushback from people in Soto, the city of Orlando has scrapped plans for a new homeless shelter. How supporters and opponents of the shelter are pivoting to find other solutions to this growing problem.
Plus, the new technology that police say will help them keep a close eye on spring breakers down in South Florida.
We have a winner of the Great American Race now at Daytona International Speedway. And this is not his first time speeding to the finish line in first place. Even President Donald Trump made a special appearance at the Speedway, his plane flying over racing fans in awe.
We drove right in. We saw Air Force One. We saw the Thunderbirds. I had chills up and down my spine.
The extra security on hand to keep everyone safe today.
We saw several pauses in the Daytona 500, all courtesy of this cold front, bringing intermittent rain showers back to Central Florida. We're clearing out tonight and also cooling down. I'll let you know what to expect as we kick off your work week coming up tonight at 10.
West 2 News on CW18 starts with breaking news.
And that breaking news out of the Daytona 500. This is a live look at the Speedway where the race just finished within the last half hour. We begin with West 2's Kristen Lago here in studio with more on the now 2-time winner. Kristen.
Yeah, Michelle. Now at 10, protesters in Central Florida and across the U.S. take to the streets. The No King's Day protests on President Trump's birthday and the Army's 250th anniversary parade drove home the message many people are against his policies and they won't treat him like royalty.
Donald Trump has neglected the rule of law and has defied the authority of the federal courts.
The anti-Trump protests also drew out Trump supporters, leading to arrests in Marion County. Tonight, West 2 has eyes on demonstrations all across Central Florida. Our team coverage stretching from Orlando down to South Florida by the president's Mar-a-Lago estate.
West 2 News on CW18 starts right now.
Well, the mass protests today were mostly peaceful in Central Florida, but there were a few tense moments that forced police to make arrests. We'll get to that.
First at 5. Anna, 2 Orlando high school students have been arrested tonight.
Yeah, police say they brought a loaded gun to campus. This is just the latest in a string of incidents across Central Florida where either weapons have been found or threats have been made. In just the last 24 hours, police have been called to schools in at least 4 Central Florida cities, as you see here: Deltona, Sanford, Denellen, and Orlando. Our team coverage begins with that gun found in Orlando. West 2's Justin Shecker joins us live outside of Boone High School right now. And Justin, what we want to know, where did police find that gun?
Summer Michelle, Orlando police say they found that loaded handgun in a 17-year-old girl's backpack. Tonight, her boyfriend is also facing charges because police say he gave her that firearm. This morning's gun scare prompted a school-wide lockdown. Orlando police are sharing 2 photos of the loaded 9mm handgun. They say they located in a girl's backpack at Boone High School.
Out of nowhere, a lockdown. It was a little weird. No one knew it was going down.
Later in the morning after the lockdown, senior Caleb Sadowski says he learned 2 students have been arrested for bringing the gun to campus. Do you feel safe coming to school?
Not all the time. Not all the time. Last year we had the metal detectors. They weren't the best, made me late to school, but a little bit safer, I'm not gonna lie.
Last year, Boone was one of 4 Orange County public schools that tested out metal detectors. Superintendent Maria Vasquez told West 2 News the long lines and cost are 2 reasons the security measure was not implemented at high schools across the district.
So at the end of the day, when we tallied up the amount, we could not afford to expand the pilot to all 23 of our high schools.
On Thursday night, a plane flew over Lake Brantley High School in Seminole County, carrying a banner saying, "Zero tolerance guns or threats at schools." This video was captured hours after a 16-year-old student facing firearm charges appeared before a judge. Altamont Springs police say the boy brought an unloaded stolen gun to school on Wednesday.
My son needs help.
These 2 instances of students bringing guns to school happened the week after the deadly mass shooting at Appalachia High School in Georgia. Sadowski says he's grateful police quickly got their hands on this loaded gun.
Very thankful. Thankful that it got out of school as quick as possible.
And the 19-year-old high school senior faces an additional charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Reporting live in Orlando, I'm Justin Shecker, West 2 News.
A Seminole County teenager was in court today after police arrested him for allegedly making threats about a school shooting. The 15-year-old will be kept in juvenile detention for now, but the judge told him if he does get out, he will have to follow strict rules.
You are not to return to Seminole High School, and you are not to have any social media or access to any electronic devices.
Now, we're not showing the teen's face because he is not being charged as an adult. Seminole County Public Schools confirmed that he is a student at Seminole High. Sanford police arrested him on Thursday. The arrest report says they got an anonymous tip that the teen was sent a news article about a threat to a friend and wrote that it was him and that he wanted to be a shooter. In Deltona, deputies arrested a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old for posting threats on TikTok and Instagram. Both go to Heritage Middle School, and both are now charged with making written threats to kill, which is a felony. And in Marion County, deputies arrested a 16-year-old student who goes to Denellen High School. A concerned parent told a school resource officer about a threat made on Snapchat. Investigators say in that video, the teen held what appeared to be a rifle with the words "He's back" in red letters. The teen told deputies he admitted to posting the video and said that he was holding an airsoft rifle.
And in an effort to make schools more secure, metal detectors are now going into Brevard High School. Melbourne High School will be the first. Our team coverage continues right now with West 2's Nancy Alvarez showing us how the students will use them and the reaction from parents.
I think that they should definitely have that in every single school.
Brevard parent Anna Teato says the only thing worse than metal detectors in Melbourne High is not having them at the school.
Any school, anywhere that our kids are, anything that's going to provide security for them, it should be there.
West 2 first showed you the detectors now approved for use in Brevard Public Schools. These kinds of detectors have been used in Lee County for over a year now.
Make sure the kids are safe and make sure we have officers in those schools.
Principal James C. Kirk posted a message to Bulldog families.
We will deploy these new metal detectors on October the 9th. We're going to be doing a series of training videos for our student body to show them exactly what they can bring to school, and how they should carry their belongings to school so that they can sail through the screening process.
Yeah, we go to the airport and we have to go through 1,000 things of security just to travel somewhere else, so why not our schools where our children are?
A new normal, metal detectors in Brevard high schools, a community hoping for a safer school year. Nancy Alvarez, WESH 2 News.
Melbourne High School will open their doors early for a few days so the students can get used to the routine of using the detectors. The district says they will roll out detectors in the coming weeks to all other high schools. And we've got more team coverage on the efforts to secure our schools. Coming up at 5:30, WESH News' Megan Mulatto looks at a new policy that started this week in Osceola County.
All right, we are staying on top of breaking news. Up next, new video of the lightning strike that's canceled a fireworks show in Sanford tonight.
And on this Independence Day, a longtime rancher says working with cattle is in her blood.
All I knew was work. I watched my mom and dad do that together and my siblings.
Farming and ranching has been in the family for 5 generations. The roots they've built in Central Florida.
Still ahead, a man called a hero in Southwest Florida after saving a girl from a shark in the water.
He jumped on the water to take the shark out of his hands.
Yeah.
So he blinked, take him out of the water.
Wow.
But 3 days after that rescue, he was arrested and detained by ICE. Why police say they pulled him over.
Sounding the alarm on seniors who don't know where they're going to get their next meal. I'm WESH 2's Megan Moriarty, the advocacy group that is combating the crisis.
Florida is known for its gorgeous beaches, and there is one standout, according to TripAdvisor, ranking in the top 5 of the most beautiful in the whole world.
1, ready, go.
Plus, Orange County students learn to make music after school. The group pulling the strings and offering lessons for free.